have seen and witnessed something this afternoon which is going to be talked about for many years in the sport of cycling, for many years in the history of the Tour de France, and still, Phil, he will not give up. He will keep powering all the way to the line, because every second now is going to count for Floyd Landis from San Diego.
He never dreamt he'd get another one, and now he's made it possible before the finish in Paris to win this race. That's a nice show of determination, a magnificent piece of revenge.
We've been planning the conference for a couple of years now. We've had extensive discussions with people throughout the cycling world, and we made an open invitation to everybody in the cycling world to come along and participate in the conference and discuss, ways that the sport can move forward. So Floyd responded to that invitation, and we accepted his desire to come and speak.
Floyd Landis has gone off on his own, and he's now flying away to the probable stage victory, and more than likely riding himself back into the possibility of winning the Tour de France this afternoon.
Landis is coming to Australia of his own accord. We made an open invitation quite some time ago to everybody in the cycling community to come along and participate in an open conference, a forum where we could discuss some of the problems facing the sport in an open and fair and free manner. And Floyd asked if he could participate, and we gladly accepted that. It's unfortunate. I think things are moving forward in cycling a lot at the moment, and there's a bit of a paradigm shift in the way that people do things, and the reaction of the organisers has been, I think, a little bit old school, if I can say that. We've received a huge amount of support from other cycling federations, from professional cyclists, from anti-doping agencies, from scientists, from journalists, all sorts of people all around the world, and we think it's a good positive move to have a discussion on positive issues. Well, I was a bit shocked to read that, because the implication was that Floyd had launched a tirade at the Tour of California. Anybody who's followed the case and has looked at the facts knows that Floyd didn't make any tirade at the Tour of California. He was in private negotiations with USA Cycling and other bodies to come forward, and somebody leaked those emails. Well, I think if Floyd's bitter about anything, he's bitter about the same thing that many other cyclists are bitter about, and that is that the rules aren't necessarily applied evenly across the board. That is, not all cyclists are treated the same. Some can come back and some can't come back, and there's impediments there that we need to sort out. I think there's a lot of short-sighted thinking going on. We've been in this. It's not as if Landis has created a crisis in cycling that hasn't been there before. We've been going through a tremendous, difficult stage ever since the Festina Tour, and if not before. And the point is, I think the sport's really got to take a grip of the situation and work together. All parties have got to work together and come up with a resolution that's going to work and going to be sustainable. And that's part of the thing that we've tried to do in the report that we're presenting at the conference. It's not just about Floyd. We're presenting a major report, and that report is about trying to work our way to involve the cyclists in a positive manner in the anti-doping process, give them decent career structures, and make this sport sustainable. Mike, we all love this beautiful sport, and we want it to be strong and healthy. Well, the title of our report is "I Wish I Was 21 Now," and I've had that sentiment expressed to me by a number of older pros and people who are now ex-pros who think that the sport has changed dramatically in the last 3 years, and it's as a result of a change in culture amongst the riders themselves And the riders, I think, are taking a really different attitude. And as you know, I talk to people around the world. I talk to the Spanish riders, other European riders, American riders, and I think there is a groundswell for change. It's just that we've all got to move on together and not sort of play these old games of recrimination and criticising people who speak. You know, a few years ago there was a call for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in cycling. Jaime Lisovetsky, the Spanish head of the sports department, called for a grand round table to sort out some of the business of cycling. The World Championships is where the business of cycling gets done. It's where the UCI holds its meetings. And we see this conference as the first step in trying to promote that process. Well, it generates, as I said before, it generates some anger with some people, but it generates a lot of positive feeling as well. Last night I must have had 300 emails of support from riders, from federations, from fans, from people in the media. So I think there is, in some places, anger being expressed, but in other places there's a groundswell of support. And you can see that by just following things like Twitter and some of the cycling blogs. Well, I'm a modest boy, Mike. I never expected us to be moving so fast in cycling this year. I think there's been dramatic changes in the way things have been done in recent times, and I'm really positive that there's good people in cycling and good people watching cycling from bodies such as the World Anti-Doping Agency, the IOC and that sort of thing, who are really keen to make this beautiful sport beautiful again, and that's what we're all trying to do here. If we can contribute to that process with our modest little conference and our research, you know, we're delighted. That's what universities are for.